and you're very welcome to episode 145 of the Take a Pull podcast. We've had a week off, very well-earned week off, I feel, Deck. That was podding quite a lot prior to it, and with the weather the way it is, there's probably no better opportunity. But how have things been, Deck? I haven't spoken to you in a while.
Yeah, good. Good to be back. Yeah, we gambled on taking a week off, with that the racing would be off, but it actually went ahead last week at Nice. So, but our gambling was a lot better at Leopardstown than the week before.
Yeah, on the Sunday was good. Yeah, Monday was tougher now, but it was well, actually, it was actually all right for you. You were just back in. You're just hoping every race is a bumper from now on, probably.
Yeah, well, it's funny, isn't it? Because almost every time we come to a bumper, we're like, now haven't looked at that, and then there was a nice double and almost done by Luke's selection on the Monday, which was a 28 to 1 shot. So it's funny the way it worked out, isn't it? See, it is. Like we do say, you don't have to get gambling the bumper, but it's such an important race to bet on. Like, there's no point spending too much time on the weekly bumpers beforehand when you've not an awful lot to go on. But I am a firm believer that if you're at the race and you've seen something, particularly in a bumper, like it does stick with you. And like even when it comes to the Cheltenham bumper, like I wouldn't put an awful lot of time into that race because there's so little to go on. But I would, if there was a horse that I thought was impressive when I was at the racetrack during the year, I'd usually go, look, there's my selection, there's a few quid on it, like, like I am a firm believer, if you've seen something that was, and you might not always know why you were impressed, like, but if you were been at the track and you were impressed, and sometimes it could be before the race or even after the race, you should stick with it, and it does work out well for spring bumpers, I feel.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You pretty much described how I felt about Active Innocence now, and I know we're not going to preview or go over English races, but I could see him go very close on the Wednesday race now at Cheltenham. I thought he was quite impressive at the Sydney Banks. Now, he was always on my radar since he was third in that Punchestown bumper, and obviously you've applied that logic to back in two bumper winners at the Dublin Racing Festival as well. So just the two at double figure prices. Right. So look, we'll scan over the Dublin Racing Festival. I know it was a week and a half ago, and people have probably heard a lot about it, but I've watched it back more than once. A few of my takeaways though, like that ground was extremely testing. First of all, before we preview or review the weekend's racing, would you be worried about backing these horses at Cheltenham after they had a hard race on such testing ground, or do you think the time between the races and the quality of the trainer should negate that?
I would be slightly worried now about the horses who ran on the Monday, more so than the Sunday. I thought it looked a lot more testing on the Monday, but I think the placement of the festival gives them that extra week. So, like, the old meeting on when it was just a 1 day was a week later. Yeah, it was the same weekend as the Newry meeting that we had just gone. I think it was a brilliant move to move it a week forward. So it does give them that extra bit of time. But I would be slightly worried about the horses on the Monday. I thought it looked a bit more testing on the Monday. Okay. I thought they were finishing better on Sunday. What do you think?
Yeah, I would completely agree with you. That Monday looked really tough work now, especially when it was getting late in the day, and it rained as well that night, didn't it? So just in case we didn't have enough of that already.
It hasn't stopped raining, Andy, since.
It's insane, isn't it? I can't remember anything like it. It just will not stop.
I think it looks. I'm just looking at the window there. It seems to be down for life.
Yeah, exactly.
This is life now. It
is what it is.
This is it. Like, so we're all going to have to adapt.
Yeah. The blinds aren't here yet, so I just have no choice but to look at it.
Just looking out at it.
Delayed until next week or the week after or something like that. So,
well, that's what happens when you win loads of money and you buy
nice ones. You get them imported.
Blind, the Egyptian silk.
Anyway, right, we'll leg it through the Dublin Racing Festival. First race won by cousin Kate, very impressively. I couldn't help but feel mugged off. I know she's obviously clearly extremely progressive, but how she got beat that day at Tramore of 104 when I had the load on, I'll never know. Just rated 131 now, somewhat 6 weeks later. Look, she was impressive. I don't know about the form of the race now. Like looking back on a couple of double figure prices hit the frame. It's not as if Whimsy was, had much up her sleeve. In fairness to her, though, she couldn't have done much more than what she did. I thought she's probably a bit better value for 3/4 of a length at the line, and she'd be probably well entitled to have a go at the Dawn Run now, based on what she's done and how progressive she is. Any thoughts on her decorating that might have caught your eye in behind?
I'm actually wondering what the first two home are, because
right,
as you said, like you managed to get her beat at Tramore that day.
How is beyond me, and like I suppose the second was progressive as well. Dame of Scotlandstown, isn't it? And she was actually probably unlucky. She didn't get a run before the last, did she? She had to come around a few, and possibly unlucky.
She bolted up first time in a handicap on. I think it might have been New Year's Eve, and I do remember thinking that day she must be a nice horse, because you need to be a good horse to win first time in a handicap in Ireland. A lot of times they'll take the run, or they might take 2 runs to adjust the things and to get to grips with the speed of the races. But like, she bolted up first time in a handicap, and then she's gone and finished second, very, very inexperienced. I'd say she's a really, really nice horse. The first two home, I know you're kind of crabbing at the form a bit looking back to Whimsy and third, but the first two home could be they're in the could be anything category. We've seen Gavin do this before with Gowran Porter, I suppose.
It's the best example. Obviously, he had that horse that was second in an Irish champion hurdle to Honeysuckle. Darver Star came from the clouds as well with a rating. So, it could be easily. He's done it multiple times. Even like Now Is the Hour, the recent Toyestes winner, he won a maiden hurdle at Limerick, backed off the boards for horses that had never been placed under rules or something like that. He's a master at just progressing horses. So I take your point.
Yeah, I'd say she could be. She's definitely one to keep on side. But the first two home are definitely both of them are definitely ones to keep on side. They're two really, really nice horses, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I didn't watch many other podcasts leading up to the Dublin Racing Festival, as we were probably busy with this one, but I'd be fairly confident we would have been the only podcast out there that we're only Luke away from napping Kay Dahi to be final demand, and I don't think we had a moment's worry from the third or fourth fence, really. We described final demand as a 155 horse that everyone thinks is a 175 horse. You could argue he hasn't ran his race. I would almost argue that there's a fair chance he probably ran to somewhere in the mid 150s, and Kay Dahi is probably a future Gold Cup horse, and we already know Western Foal's a 157 horse and probably wasn't having his ground that he liked. So first of all, Kay Dahi, how impressed were you? And second of all, would you be expecting better from Final Demand, possibly in the Broadway at Cheltenham?
Well, I wouldn't be expecting better. I just thought it was a man against a boy. The Kay Dahi looked massive, imposing, and I just thought, he put him under so much pressure with his jumping. Like he was very, very good, Kay Dahi. It looked over from early, like, and it
was over down the back straight, wasn't it? Final Demand couldn't go with him.
Yeah, I just thought, I thought he made Final Demand look like probably a poorer horse than he is, because he just couldn't live with him. His jumping was so good. Maybe he was bullying him a bit. Like I thought he looked huge beside him. I thought it was a really, really good performance, and he'd probably be my idea of the Broadway winner right now. And I think on TAP National Day when he won, we kind of said that to each other up in the restaurant, that he could be a Broadway horse, but is he favourite for it?
He is now, yeah. I'm just pulling up now that he is I'm on odds checker now, and I've just noticed I started a joke as favourite for the Moore battle at Kelso, which is interesting. Right. Cheltenham Festival, here we go.
Is that the bonus race?
It is, yeah. I'd say that horse is still very, very well handicapped. Let's see, Wednesday. Brown Advisory. Final Demand is actually still the 4-1 favourite. Kate Dahi 5-1. The big Westerner, I wouldn't be touching her at 5-1. Romeo Coolio won't run it. Wendigo is not fast enough. Western Fold would have a great chance. 6 Mile Bridge, I love him. I was really impressed with him in the Silly Oils.
Well, he could run in the Arkle, or he could
run the handicap as well. Fergal's going to give him a handicap entry. And then Kit's Bull out to 12-1 after he unseated. Cocktail Divan, I'd be sceptical even on the old course, him over 3 miles. You've got Oscar's brother, who was extremely impressive, but possibly the only one that really wants to be getting interested in that 10 up. And then you go all the way down to likes of Predators Gold, Regent Stroll, who's not going to run in it. Wingman, who is 150-1 for the race. He's been bumping into a lot of nice horses. He's probably fell into a nice mark. Based on if you look back through his form. So look, it doesn't look like it's going to be the strongest race on paper, in my opinion. It looks very wide open, but Kay Dahi would be the one I'd be taking for it now myself. We'll fly on deck. After that was Talk to Talk, who I thought did extremely well to catch King Rasco Grey and Ballyfad on the line. They didn't go overly hard, and from where Talk to Talk came from, I was very impressed by him. I must say. Now, I know we mentioned about Monday being the most testing grounds, but the way Talk to Talk had to make that ground to catch the front two, he's still my idea, the supreme winner, and I've already said on multiple podcasts I think he could win a champion hurdle, and my opinion of him has not changed. But I would be worried about how hard a race he had to make up the ground on the 2 horses that he beat. That's my only worry about him going into Cheltenham now. I know this race cost you a fair few quid, Deck, pretty agonising, but what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it cost me a few grand now, and to be honest, that's what I finished.
I'm sorry.
Sure, look, we can't complain I got lots of luck later on in the card in the bumper, so
you did,
I certainly wouldn't be whinging about it, but I don't know. He came round. I thought Ballyvad was very, very impressive. I can't understand the talk of wanting to step up and just not going to Supreme.
I thought that was strange as well. Yeah,
I'd love to see the 2 of them have a go at it again, because I just love the way when King Rasco Grey got the Ballyfad went again, and he was headed and took a length out of King Rasco Grey then, and I just think he was done on the line by a horse who Talk to Talk came round King Rasco Grey, and maybe he didn't see him, and look, he's delivered him absolutely perfectly. It's the only place you want to be in front is right on the line. So look, he has done them, but there's nothing between them, and I'd love to see them have a go at it again. And I just love the way Ballyfad went again and went up a length after King Rasco Grey got to him and headed him. So I think if he got to eyeball him, a bit further out, Talk to Talk, he might get into a right battle with him and get the better of him. Like, you'd be getting a much bigger price in Ballyfad if he turns up in the Supreme. I'd be confident. I wouldn't know. I'm not saying I'd be confident, but I'd rather take the price about Ballyfad. There's a short head between them, and I think Ballyfad might be tougher. And if he gets to eyeball him, he might have gone again. But there was no time. I still wouldn't put anyone off Blake if we got a good round Supreme. He was right there till the last, and he probably just didn't get home on the ground. But like, he was up with them, he was going well, and I think he just didn't get home on the ground. So I wouldn't be putting anyone off taking some mad numbers about him.
100-1 on the book for the Supreme is Blake. Eight lengths to find on good ground. I've heard worse shouts. So. Cocktail Brew, they're both in around 139, 140. Both needed one more run to qualify for a handicap. I'd say they're two nicely handicapped horses at the moment off their weights. Probably Galway Hurdle could be Could be Blake side. Could be where he ends up in the summertime.
Possibly, but if we get good ground, like I think the ground is beating them at Leopardstown. If someone turned the taps off and we managed to get a dry couple of weeks and we got good ground, you know, you'll have worse bets during the week.
Yeah, you absolutely would.
And 100-1 on Blake on good ground. So I wouldn't be completely writing them off. And watch it back with the way he did go to the last. Not a beaten horse anyway, and it was probably the ground that beat him.
Yeah, there's probably 3 very serious horses now. You look back now on King Rascal Grey, his maiden hurdle form. He's rated well into the 140s now. King Rascal Grey, Shuttle Diplomacy, who was impressive on his next start at Naas, rating of 133 at the moment, which looks dangerous. And then you've got, I started a joke, obviously, in there off 132 after his excellent run in the Liffey. Kaiser Ball was the horse third that day. Hasn't been seen since, I don't believe. Does carry, I believe, a Bearing Bingham and a Supreme entry, but they'd want to probably get him into a maiden hurdle. But yeah, looking like a very strong maiden hurdle that at Limerick. Both of those horses given King Rascal Grey £7, by the way, in that race. So maybe 2 to look out for at big prices in the spring if they end up stepping up in grade at hurdles level. Well, I started jokes and end up in a handicap, isn't he? But Shuttle Diplomacy, Bearing Bingham entered, and I wouldn't rule him out. Right deck on then to Majbra, extremely impressive. I was trying to joke now that you'd see the Time Form Darling performance is what I said, and but actually I predicted to be in something random like an Ascot Chase or something, but the cheek pieces and out from the front, and they didn't see which way he went. I suppose two questions for you. Do you think he'd be able to do that again in the Champion Chase? And was it possibly the very heavy ground? Did the horse just thoroughly enjoy that?
You laughed at me when I said a pair of cheek pieces to sort him out.
Well, Mark Welch, everyone laughed at Mark Welch. Willie Munson Mark Welch
watch the show, does he? Putting cheek pieces on the cane horse, but they done the trick, and that was over. That was over heading away from the stands, I thought. Yeah. He was so good, and down the back, it was a joy to watch. I genuinely believe the cheek pieces sorting him out and just helping concentrate on the fences, and that when he was concentrating on the fences, he began to fulfill the potential. He began to become the horse we hoped he could be, and he's the one to beat now. So he's the one Captain Guinness has to get by in the Champion Chase. But it'll be a tough task for him now. I'd say Marine National would be closer to him now. There won't be as much behind them or much between them at Cheltenham, but I thought it was absolutely brilliant, and I thought it was down to the cheek pieces, and I hope they're left on.
Yeah, they'll stay on. There's no two ways about that. Yeah, extremely impressive. He saw Solness very, very quickly, and then from there on, it was probably third fence.
Solness was probably the ground as well.
Yeah, exactly. He was having none of it. Solness is a funny old character. He'll fight for you and give it all when it's on his terms, and then the moment it isn't, like I think now we can close the case on the ground with him. Yeah, the ground and the travel. Ground the travel, yeah. He needs it all correct. The handicap chase was won then by Backmere Sackme. I had him down as a possible National Hunt Chase horse. I think he's nearly favoured for it now, and I'd have no qualms about him getting the trip. I thought we were going to get mugged off by Waterford Whispers for a minute in that race. And then obviously our selection, Kinter Calanisi burst, which is not great.
Well,
he's all right now. Yeah, win some. Yeah, you were. Yeah.
Look, come here. When I say the drift, I win some, lose some, and well, of course, it was the jockey book and that I was slightly alarmed about, but when I say the drift, it was like, sure, look, it'll be another day. But he's run a cracker. He wasn't beaten far, and possibly the next day for them. But you don't know with their operation.
Yeah, exactly. Brighter days ahead got the better of Lossiemouth. Was it possibly the ground? Brighter days ahead, probably enjoying that a bit more than Lossiemouth, but she was good now. Bust the champion hurdle quite wide open. I was a little bit disappointed Amsterdam couldn't hold off Poneros back down the field, but he did settle under Harry Compton, so you do take the little wins. Interesting to see what happens with Poneros as well, whether he's going to be quick enough for something like a champion hurdle. First run of the season, didn't run badly. What were your thoughts on the mares then, Dec?
Look, she Brighter days ahead was right up the arse of Lossiemouth at Christmas, and with that run under her belt, she was good. She loves it around Leopardstown. She's very, very good. She handles the ground. I don't think Lossiemouth is a 2-miler, and yeah, look, I'm hoping the 2 runs. She's excuses for the 2 runs at Cheltenham, and it was the hard race at Leopardstown, and the year before it was possibly the right. Look, she was beaten by a really good horse in the Dawn Run, but
beaten by champion hurdler.
You beat by champion hurdler, exactly. So look, I'm hoping that she runs her race in the champion hurdle. But I'd rather be on goal than ace. Yeah,
I'd be leaning nearly that way myself at this rate, but I was impressed by the new line and how he picked up off slow pace the international hurdle. He showed me another dynamic that day. But the closer we get to this race, and I've said this to you already, I think we're going to get a big shock. I don't know who it is, but I think I'm just going to sit back and back any.
I back Captain Bell Lad today.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put you off him. I think I'll just have a 5 or a 10er on any horse over 33-1 and kick my feet back and just watch it. I don't think there's much, if anything, between the top ones. And I was getting laughed at on Twitter last week for saying I'd be supplementing Tony Quanti for this race after what he did in the Trophy or Betfair Hurdle or William Hill or whatever they're calling it these days. Did that off 12 stone, barely came off the bridle. Extremely impressive. And his only question is whether he's good enough. The others have all sorts of questions to answer. I'd be supplementing him because you're probably never going to see a champion hurdle this week. It's really, really bad. I don't know if there's obviously we're losing Sergino and Constitution Hill, nearly legally blind probably at this stage, and it's really, really lacking. And I'd be getting my Alexis, my Tootie Quantis, my Celtic Dinos, anything up the top of the weights in a county hurdle. I'd be running the champion hurdle. Why not? If you're not in, you can't win it. Interesting state of affairs there, the champion hurdle. Nearly there, Dec, with the first day. Anything on the Liffey? Obviously, Bones on Fire beat I Started a Joke. I'd say 2 very well handicapped horses. And I just mentioned there, I Started a Joke getting a more battle entry. I still think he'll win the Martin Pipe. I think he'll take all the beating in that now. I think there's going to be so much improvement when that horse steps up and trip. Anything that you saw in that Liffey handicap?
Look, I had it between Kiko Bello and Bones on Fire, and I think Bones on Fire is a nice horse. But he's won 5 times over hurdles now. You could throw him into the champion hurdle picture as well.
Yeah, why not?
You could take the chance on him. I thought it was a good performance. He's tough. He'll win more races. I'm wondering how good he could be now, because
Gordon seemed to unlock him now.
Does take some down to win 5 races, five hurdle races, and still looking progressive in Ireland. So, I think he's a nice horse, and we might see him running in. I don't know what to do next. Will he go over fences or?
I'd say they're county hurdle bound, and then why not? Might as well go over fences.
He's definitely progressive and he's tough. So he probably has a spring handicap in him. Not usually the profile I'd be looking for, but I really, really like him.
absolutely.
I think he's the right one now.
There was one horse I need to actually go back and watch. Ain't Got Wings, who was trained by Martin Brassel. He was pulled up. I just need to see how he jumped. He was pulled up at the second last, but that was before they hit that was basically as they were out exiting the back straight. And the only reason I'm watching him is because there's, I think, Fast or Slow, An Epic Song, and there was another one that was punted off the boards in a Coral Cup. Fast or Slow, An Epic Song, and I'll have to find it. Anyway, Martin Brassel's used that race a few times, and horses have been punted off the boards for a Coral Cup. Now, he's going to be a telephone number's price if he runs in the Coral Cup, because he's got off the boat from France, hasn't been sighted behind El Fabiolo in a conditions hurdle, and has then pulled up in the Liffey. Irish handicappers dropped him £7 from 138 to 131. He's an 8-year-old. It depends what the English handicapper's going to do with him. It wouldn't surprise me if Martin was bringing him along now. And even though he was pulled up, we'll see what happens if he ends up in a Coral Cup. But anyway, we'll see. Jack, the bumper then, Moon Verin. I know you were cost quite a few quid on Ballyfad, but that came back in droves with what ended up happening at the line. Do you think he had him covered anyway?
No, not a chance. Poor Stephen Connor, but look, I walked out with Leopardstown quite happy. I wasn't even watching the race, Andy. I was talking to Hugo Kane, and Steve backed him. The Edwards backed there as well, because I'd been talking about it was kind of the end of the day and it'd been a good day. So Steve was like, "What colour are we in?" I couldn't even see the screen. I was like, "I don't know, maroon or something." And then he went out, no, that's not us. No, that's not us. And then it flashed up. But look, you can't be booming that one now. She was very, very fortunate. But look, come here. We won't go rubbing her in, but walked out a happy man anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Right, we'll blast through the Monday card then. Dr. Steinberg, quite impressive. I think that might have been a weak race though. 11-4 now for the Albert Bartlett. What do you think of him?
Yeah, it was. I thought I was very disappointed with a few of them in that race. I was thinking we did have quite a good crop of novice hurdlers. I certainly think we do in the 2-mile division. But these lads, I don't know. Now look, don't get me wrong, he was very, very good. He was keen, he galloped, he jumped. Like, he's a force to be reckoned with. I just don't think the rest in between or in behind are up to too much. But I don't want to take away from him and his performance. Yeah. But I don't know where you go with him. Like, I wouldn't be running him in an Albert Bartlett. He'd probably come down the hill well, but going for home, looking for that second or that last hurdle, I think he could be in trouble. He's probably too classy for a race like that.
He travelled well. Yeah, Dr. Dano, a Dr. Dano favour for an Albert Bartlett is something that was not on my bingo card. But well, anyway,
but look, he's gone on 1 over 2 mile 6, but he's probably too good a horse, too classy, you can't travel the way he is going to travel in that race. So I wouldn't be bad. I'd be taking him on in that. But he'd enjoy it, Turners.
Yeah, he wouldn't be out of place now. Narciso Haas, winner the Spring Juvenile, quite impressive. Selma Davari as well, great effort in second on stable debut for Willie Mullins' daughter Zarak. I was a bit disappointed by Monge too. And then there was a very eye-catching run from North Shore, who was 4th, beating about 10 lengths. I'm surprised more people didn't comment on that now. Probably because he isn't going to get enough runs to get into a Fred Winter. But yeah, any thoughts there, Deck, on the Spring Juvenile?
Yeah, I watched it on the big screen from the hallway upstairs. I bumped into Mark Walsh from Paddy Power and we got chatting, and he was actually on his way to back Narciso Has, and I kept him waffling there for a few minutes, and he actually didn't get the bet on, so I do apologise for that, Mark. But I'm sure he was happy after riding all the Grade 1 winners throughout the weekend anyway. But yeah, look, I thought he was very, very good. Obviously, it's all about the horse in second. Is what is she?
Yeah.
She's the one to take out of it, isn't she?
You would have thought so. I think the triumph would go to England. Is it Manila's Study for Adam Nicol? I think he's the one I've liked the most now. Study a man 4-year-old won I think in December at Cheltenham. But it's the juvenile division is not something I have a huge opinion on though right now. But no. I do quite like Manila's Study. Narciso Haas does look like a nice horse, but I just feel like the juveniles haven't really gotten going in Ireland for some reason.
It hasn't stopped raining.
Hasn't stopped raining, exactly. It's fair enough. The race and stay Leopardstown handicap hurdle. Jesus Christ! This was a slog. Yeah. This was really, really tough work. Basically, the whole field pulled up. I quite fancied Wendrock. He never went a yard. Probably the ground. I would forgive him that, and he was probably never travelling well enough to have had a hard race. County final. Best to say, he was reported coughing. So he had excuses, but Jesus, this was tough. We had San Lafort just about beat Savante. Not sure they were Niall Moore or Callum Hogan's greatest moments. I think one kicked and then the other got there too early, and then the other just got back up, and then he can't dance well back in third. Savante would have been the mother of all mug-offs, I think, the amount of times we put her up, but really unlucky. I thought that she was going to get up. Any thoughts here, Dec? This is probably one where you don't follow anything for the rest of the season because, as you said, they're finishing drunk.
Look, it is what it was. What it was. I've nothing really to take from it.
Fair enough. Irish Arkle, another where they
were locked.
Romeo Coolio just about doing enough to beat Kirghizi. Jack put his hands down. Possibly, I think Romeo Coolio was idling. I think he might have had more up his sleeve than what looked the case at the time. Everybody's saying he's not fast enough for an Arkle and he shouldn't be in an Arkle, but then you look at the last couple of Arkle winners, Gaelic Warrior and Django Boy, who are both neck and neck up at the top of the Gold Cup betting. Good horses win Arkles, stayers win Arkles. It's very, very common. And I do think keeping a horse to 2 miles for as long as possible stands them in good stead as they go on in their career. So I would be running Romeo Coolio on the Arkle. He deserves to take his chance. Any thoughts on that Irish Arkle, Dec?
Well, I think stayers win Arkles when there's not a vintage 2 miler in it, and there's often not a vintage 2 miler in it because it's restricted to novices, whereas they don't win champion chases because it's an open.
They end up on the deck probably.
Yeah, because it's 2 milers in open company, so like it's very common to not have a vintage 2 miler in a novice chase division. So I thought she had him in trouble the whole way around, to be honest. I thought she was just going to run away from him, and she did just run away from him. And she just seems to have ideas of her own because, like, she picked up again and ran him down. I'm not sure where I'd run him now.
The Willow Worm Gold Cup. Would you skip Cheltenham?
Well, that's the obvious race for him, but they're going to go to Cheltenham. But
I know it's a handicap, but would he win the Gordon Richards off top weight? I'd say probably would.
Probably, yeah. But I've come away from that race with lots of question marks about him. Like he didn't hit the line very hard for whatever reason. He was beaten, way out. He wasn't quick enough. I don't, she was pulling herself up. That's the only reason he got back into the race, and then he's stopping at the line and she's picking up again. I don't know. I would be taking him on no matter where he turns up now at Cheltenham after that race, especially the way he finished, with it being on the Monday as well.
Yeah.
The wisest thing to do might be to skip Cheltenham with him because he's had such a hard race and go to Fairyhouse and beat the tired horses from Cheltenham at Fairyhouse and win another Grade 1. And then think about going to the Gold Cup next year. But He's ran in what's that? His third grade one now.
Yeah, 3 grade ones, 4 from 4 over fences,
Mm.
and people are still kind of crabbing the season or the campaign that he's having. Which I've seen people question his campaign, which I think that's bollocks now. Like, how can you win 3 grade ones and people be questioning your campaign? But I suppose that's the world we live in now.
His most impressive performance, I don't care what numbers say, what official ratings say, what RPR say, I haven't even looked at them. His most impressive performance by a million miles was in the Drinmore. He was awesome in the Drinmore. Coming back to 2 miles, he stayed on to beat Irish Panther, who, he was he fortunate, or he got there on the line? You wouldn't say it was impressive.
He probably ran down an underappreciated horse though that day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I look at the moment, I'd probably be back in Irish Panther in the Arkle. I mean, that's probably my bet at the moment. But his most impressive performance by a long way was in the Drinmore, which is over 2.5 miles.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't be backing him at the Cheltenham Festival.
No, neither would I. I wouldn't back him in the Browns either. But it'd be just interesting to see
I'm not sure how well he will stay either.
I think he'll get 3 miles on the stand on his head now, to be honest with you.
I don't think
the way he jumps and jumps and travels, and what he finds off the bit over 2 miles. He's a strong stayer at the trip. And I think Hargeisa had the opportunity to get away from him and put the race to bed. And maybe you're right. Maybe she did throw in the towel. Maybe she's
a nutcase.
Yeah,
she's an nutcase. Can you wear the hood and cheek pieces?
Put everything on it.
Put them all on.
Visor.
Because,
nose band.
As soon as Paul got a couple of proper slaps in there, she picked up again. She's an okay. So I don't know. I'd be taking him on at Cheltenham unless he ran in the handicap.
Yeah, I think he'd probably win the Gordon Richards, to be honest with you. Right, on to the main event of the week, and this was another absolute slog, the Irish Gold Cup. Won by Fact to File. Jaw was on the floor really after that one. I've never really rated him, but I'd have to eat my words here. This was easily a career best, and anyone that says the Ryanair was this one. Going and beating the likes of Hartwood and an absolute finished Protectorate, and then an Envoy LN who, again, an 11-year-old. It's just not it's just for me well below, even though the RPR's match, it's well below what he did here against Gaelic Warrior, and probably even what he did in the John Durkin at the start of the season, to be honest with you. Look, fair play to him. He got home there and beat Gaelic Warrior 5 lengths, who another one who I'm probably eating my words about. He ran an absolute stormer because he was lit up halfway down the back straight and was only beaten 5 lengths. Galopin Des Champs possibly in the lead for a little bit too early. It got very, very taxing. Affordale Fury, who brought them along, was pulled up but was reported to be lame. So hopefully he's okay and is able to make the Gold Cup. And Firefox, shout out to Firefox. Sean Bowen, I thought, gave him a great ride, and you can nearly argue that was a career best back and forth. And I'd be interested to see what they do with him now at Cheltenham. I thought he ran a lovely race now. Maybe it's a Grand National, the aim for him. Anyway, Deck, what were your thoughts on the Irish Gold Cup?
I think the pace probably collapsed off a silly gallop and it kind of fell into his lap. I'm not convinced he's an out-and-out stayer. I think he probably picked up the pieces here. And don't think he's a Gold Cup horse. He'd probably win the Ryanair with his head in his chest again. But
yeah, Gaelic Warrior looks like he's going to be going to Ryanair, and it looks like Fact to File is going to take his chance in the Gold Cup, but although it has to be supplemented.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I'd chance Gaelic Warrior in the Gold Cup. He's always did well. I don't think Fact to File. I think the pace collapsed and it fell into place for him. I don't think he's a strong stayer, and the fact that Firefox has stayed on as well, probably tells you all you need to know.
It's a testament to Gallop and Deschamps that he managed to fight off Firefox, to be honest with you,
yeah,
given the pace that they went.
But Firefox has probably ended up there because they've gone a silly gallop on heavy ground.
Exactly.
And I think I think Factofoil kept going without staying. Did you get what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah, he
just found himself there, and he kept going. But I think if stronger stayers were staying around him, but they just went a silly gallop in that ground, I think. Yeah,
I think you're probably right. Look, the two horses that I like didn't run in that Irish Gold Cup, and I'm delighted they didn't. Django Boy and Spallan's Tower. I'm still kind of nearly doubling down on those two now at this stage. Then you have Gallop and Deschamps. I think he's going to run a season's best in the Gold Cup this year. Whether it's going to be good enough, my 170 theory is still alive and well. Whether he can still eclipse that at his current age and what he has now, but it was an absolute slog of a race, and career best by Factofoil that he managed to keep galloping. And yeah, I think if Gaelic Warrior ran in the Gold Cup, I think his best chance of winning would be him getting the ride like Paul Carberry gave Bilvano all those years ago in the Grand Annual, just out the back for his nearly tailed up.
Like the Roy Patrick gave him.
Exactly. I think if Patrick had probably sat out the back, because now in fairness to Patrick, the Gaelic Warrior wasn't half jumping now, like he was pinging every fence, and the horse probably just brought him there by jumping too well, and then the horse came alive in his hands. On that ground, you could make an argument that probably cost him the 5 lengths, given how wide he was and how keen he got down the back. You could make the argument the 5 lengths were kind of lost there. Both horses have had hard races.
If the Gold Cup was a match, Factofoil did wallop him in a match before, didn't he?
That was around Leopardstown, and then
if you were to have a match bet between the two in a field of 10 in a Gold Cup, I'd take Gaelic Warrior every day.
A match, a field of 10. Yeah, if it was a match at Factofoil,
it was a proper race. It was a proper race, and I had to pick one. I'd be back in Gaelic Warrior all day long.
No, I agree. Right, nearly there, Deck. Jacob's Ladder, extremely impressive in the 2 mile handicap chase, I thought. Up to 151 now. I wonder if they'll try the Arkle, or possibly they won't go to Gordon Richards. They've the Willow Worm Gold Cup. A lovely nod to the form of Cappaget Pike, who won the Killiney at Punchestown, and in hindsight, absolutely. And then in hindsight, though, Predators Gold off 146, who was third that day. I wouldn't be giving up on him. I think 146 could be a very, very lenient mark for him. And then you've the Enabler, who was fourth that day. He is down to 136 now as well, after running behind Argento Boy. He could possibly go up and trip for something like the National Hunt Chase. Every single year that Killiney throws up winners left, right and centre. Pure Steel, who was tailed off that day, I think runs the weekend. It'd be interesting to see if he can get back on track. So he just ran too poor to be true. But Predators Gold off 146, I would be confident. There's going to be mileage in that. Jacob's Ladder, wherever they do with him next, you'll have to be respected. And then you've Cappaget Pike, who, you'd have to run him in the Arkle now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. Yeah. Kind of kicking myself gone cold on Jacob's Ladder, didn't back him because I was talking him up at the beginning of the season, but the cheap piece have worked wonders for him. You mentioned Predators Gold there, and I just put a line through his run the last day. He ran like a horse who needed the run, which is strange considering he'd already won a beginner's chase. Yeah. But Willie have ran like that all season. They've won races and then they've ran like they've needed it. So if he was turning up on a nice mark in a handicap,
it's not even a nice mark. We were talking about the Brown advisory there.
Yeah.
I was looked there, 50 to 1. If you were to put a line through that run, and you've seen what Jacob's Ladder's done, albeit in a handicap. If Capija Pike was to go close in the Arkle on the Tuesday, could you see that 50-1 slowly evaporate for a horse that does look like a stayer? Just food for thought, I suppose. But yeah, every single year that race just gets overlooked at Punchestown, and every year it throws up some of the best form you'll see in the Novice Chase company. Last race, deck, was the bumper. Another winner for you, Broadway Ted, beaten with no LeMay for Luke. And then I had It's Only a Game, who I don't know what he was doing down the start, but then he gave them all 8 lengths and then took a massive pull at the second last and switched inside and switched back outside. I thought he ran a great race, to be honest with you. And I will be back in the champion bumper at a big price. I won't be put off by that. But what was your thoughts on Broadway Ted? That air bumper form, there wasn't one I thought you'd put up, but anyway.
I thought you could call him the winner the long way out. I thought he was traveling. He travelled and he came round him, and I was confident the whole way up the straight. It was made to Sweffer now with the Stewards Inquiry, but look, there's a line. The line of form I used was a line I can't remember right now, but it was a Stuart Crawford horse, I think, Devane, who's also behind Ballyfad at Down Royal. I'd say, look, my thoughts on Ballyfad from earlier. I think he could win the Supreme. So yeah, look, I think Broadway Ted's probably really nice horse as well.
Right, interesting. Right, that's the end of our Dublin Racing Festival preview. We probably went on way longer than we should have with that one, but with the chances of racing being cancelled, we may as well. Deck, are you good to start into Gowran? We probably have to fly through this now.
I'm raring to go for Gowran.
Raring to go. Keeney, let's get the hood on him. The Seamoon and Silverware at Burgage Stud Maiden Hurdle is first race on the card, deck, over 2 miles. Who do you like?
This is an interesting little race now. Paddy Toomey runs Arroway, who was second to Gowran at Leopardstown last summer before Gowran went and did the Royal Ascot. And
still a colt, by the way, this thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The Sawyer handled soft ground and heavy ground. I'm hoping this thing can jump like a cat now. Not something I'd normally do, but I'm going to take the chance on our Arroway. Madness Dale, second to on Irish debut to Kilmaiden, the Donegal O'Brien horse. Manor of Demand was disappointing at Leopardstown, but Felwyn probably going to win at Cork earlier on in the season without jumping well. I say the horse has a big engine, but I wouldn't be overly confident the weekend. What's new? Very interesting to see what Mark What's New could get. You shouldn't be put off these horses who ran early season, as 3-year-olds last autumn. You shouldn't just forget them coming up to the springtime now, particularly to the Fred Winter. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Mark he gets. Right,
interesting. ROA, deck, I'd be fairly confident he will go on the ground, no problem. So Galloway has been responsible for the likes of Sealaway, who won a champion stakes on very testing ground. Over jumps, he's been responsible for Volan, who obviously the great Jill Purpose horse. Jimmy the Soy is a Galloway as well, as is Galamarceau. And I think King Rascal Grey might be as well. So not a bad record over the jumps, those ROA. Madness DL, I'd imagine it's going to be short order here, and I could probably, it's probably fair to see why, after being second, as I said, to Kilmaiden, that was a good run. Kilmaiden ran well for a long way at Naas the last day, but did kind of fade a bit disappointingly after the last, but again, might have been the ground, you wouldn't know. It's going to be extremely testing if they do run here, deck. And then you have you do have a few national hunt breds in here, which is probably worth noting. Quite a few, actually, to be honest with you. For a 4-year-old maiden hurdle, they're nearly all national hunt bred, which is quite interesting. The code for Gordon Elliott there, Jordan Gameford. He definitely has a pedigree to look at for testing ground, but it's probably a race I'll watch, deck. Madness Dell would probably be the form pick, but I'd say there's easier fish to fry later on in the card. The Red Mills Trials up next at 120. This looks like a fairly competitive race. 8 runners. Storm Heart, who they skipped the Dublin Racing Festival and they came here. You wouldn't be thinking of him as a champion hurdler, but like if he used to win this and not come off the bridle, and he's rated 147, then why not? Kel Histori back as well, second one back after a break, and then Cowabunga, back from the dead here as well. Interesting runner, and then there's Farron Glory, who will at bare minimum go on the ground. Who do you like here, Deck?
I thought Stormheart looked outpaced down the back at Limerick.
Right.
I couldn't be having him here, and I certainly couldn't be having him for the champion hurdle.
No, neither would I. I was just saying that as a tongue-in-cheek, really. But,
Work Ahead is the only one in here with a champion hurdle entry. Farron Glory, now a 9-year-old, 7 lengths toward the Limestone lad. Liz Nagar Fortune now with John McConnell. So I really, really liked last year. But look, on form, Cowabunga, like he beat William Money now. I think Finney McGuire just couldn't settle William Money that day, and I'd fancy William Money to reverse the form at Cowabunga if they met again. But look, Cocktail Devin was third, Zanouche was fourth. He was second to Kopek the boards in a Maiden at Leopardstown before that. If he's fit and ready to run, you'd like to see him kicking these out of the way, wouldn't you?
You would, absolutely. The market will probably tell you. Work Ahead gives a good barometer at this trip, 143. Be hard to see, I think, Stormheart winning this, even though he's the highest rated and has Paul Townend up. I wouldn't be backing Cowabunga on a seasonal reappearance on his likely ground. Depending on the price, I would take Work Ahead to come forward, because even though he's very, very lightly raced for an 8-year-old, the amount he came forward from his first run when behind Jasmine DeVoe in a maiden hurdle to beating William Money with 7 lengths on his next start, I thought that was pretty significant. So based on that evidence, I'd be with him here. But I think for kind of future purposes, you would want to see Cowabunga going and winning this, but I think Work Ahead's the one you want to be with here. The 155 deck is the Surehaul Mercedes-Benz Novice Hurdle. This is a rearranged 3 mile or 2 mile 7 novice from the axed Clonmel card on Thursday. Not the strongest grade 3 you're ever going to see, just the 5 runners. I think we're in agreement here on who would like to win. You take it away there, Deck.
Yeah, look, this Andy Slattery's horse, times are changing. Like, he kept on well to win at Navan, beating Cork Compliance. Melbourne Shamrock was 4 lengths behind. Ballyfreeze beating him by a short head. I do think Changer Stars deserves a mention here, Andy. I think she's quite a nice mare. She could run a big race here and be a bit of a surprise package. She was a maiden winner at Limerick over Christmas. She beat Galileo Dame, and a horse I'm very fond of, Champagne Venture, back in third. But yeah, I think the most likely winner is Times Are Changing.
Very interesting. Right, and then I think I'd be with Times Are Changing as well. Beat Cork Compliance, as you said, last time out, and that was definitely a good run. So 7-year-old as well, testing ground, no problem. I think there's plenty to like. He probably ran to somewhere in the high 120s that day, and I think that would be close enough to being able to win this race based on what Lord Rouge and Bailey Free showed on their winning efforts. The Albert Bartlett Triple Crown Series at Punchestown Festival 2026 Hot Qualifier Handicap Hurdle is next. 15 runners going to post. Good old Grandero Bello, we were talking to Patrick Harty about him on our other pod, and they were looking for heavy ground from him. They decided to go back over hurdles with him. Wouldn't be without a chance off 122 now, but it's a competitive race, and we've got a few legends in here as well, because we said a borderline top Hall of Fame lining up here in Dancing Jeremy, the King of PRs, and Must Go Now. 2 of the 3 reverting to hurdles. Who do you like?
And it was great to see the 3 of them in a row now on the race card. Look, Dancing Jeremy, 11-year-old now, much lower hurdle mark. Just, wouldn't it be amazing to see him winning? But I wouldn't be overly confident now. The King of PRs, look, if this is over 2 miles, if this is the same race over 2 miles, I'd probably be quite confident here. But I'm not sure he sees out the trip, and I don't think he's going to see it out over hurdles. He is a 2-time hurdle winner. His last hurdle run came in September 23 when he won off 105, £6 higher, 8-year-old. Just don't think he's going to get 2.5 miles. If you might find a 2-mile hurdle for him though. Lazio is very interested in his handicap debut, only a 5-year-old, 21 lengths behind leader Dallier. He might just take the run though. He might just take the run for experience, and then he'd be of a lot of interest to me the next day. The one I like, Annie, is actually an 11-year-old, just like Dancing Jeremy. It's Crabat in there off 108. He was a chase winner off 111. Recently, at Christmas at Limerick, his last hurdle run reads quite well. Nola May was a couple of lengths ahead of him, and he won this week. He won at Limerick, didn't he? On Tuesday. Yeah. Look, Crabat's one of these. He gives it his all the time, and he's still doing it at the age of 11. So, he would be my idea of the winner.
Interesting. Crabat then for Deck. I would imagine the man in the Anorak is going to be quite short for you, Gino Sullivan. Horse in great form, and only won there 11 days. Well, it will be 11 days when they go off here. Beating Folly Master. Loves heavy ground as well. I'm going to take a chance on a recent Gowran winner, Jevrock Cavan for Paul Hennessy. Richie Condon taking off the £5 there for him. I
think she's useless over hurdles.
Yeah, but that's it. Like it's more so the heavy ground. Like I think he is a better horse on heavy ground. You'd probably have to just scratch Nace off. Like the horse made a bad mistake very early on. He was the first or second, and just never really was in the race after that. Ran okay behind Nelson County prior to that, and then obviously
he went to the second last, like the winner at Fairyhouse, and all of a sudden Nelson County was 5 lengths ahead of her. That was on the Dan Moore card. I just think she might be one of those who's a much better chaser than a hurdler.
Could well be. Yeah, could well be. I'm taking a chance on the heavy ground that'll sort him out, but Jevrock Cavan or Jack Ovek Cavan for me. I'm struggling with that one. Right, the 305 is the Ronan Lawler Memorial Irish EBF. Trying to actually fix my notices here. The Ronan Lawler Memorial Irish EBF Mares flat race. I think we can probably not spend that much time on this one, Deck. Back to not caring about bumpers for you, is it? Or do you like getting here?
I like Wicked Pleasure, trained by Henry Bromhead. She was toured at Turtles before Christmas. Form may have been let down since, but look, she was keeping on and she was green that day. I think she'll come on an awful lot for that. Luciole, the boards, she was second to a Sonny Kerry mare on New Year's Eve. She was also 6 lengths off I'm Slippy last Easter. Like it's really nice form. Nan's Choice was fourth at Limerick at Christmas. The third was second on Tuesday. I think she's going to come on and run a better race. But look, I'd imagine Luciole the Bar's probably going to be a warm enough favourite now. But I think Wicked Pleasure will come on an awful lot for a run at Turtles.
Okay, yeah. The one I had with a gun to my head was Nan's Choice, because she just ran as if she kind of needed the run at Limerick. Like she travelled well and then just didn't seem to quite get home, but it wouldn't be enough for me to have a punt. So yeah, Wicked Pleasure for yourself there, Deck. The Red Mills Chase, grade 2, main race on the card. Impere Pass makes his return to action. Classic Getaway, Buddy 1 and Software complete the field. This isn't easy now, to be honest with you. Great to see Impere Pass back. You would expect him to win, but on a seasonal reappearance this late in the year on ground that's likely very testing and given weight away all around, and given his likely price, I'd be saying he's best watched, albeit being the most likely winner. But who do you like? I
like Safarer. He's doing 5 over fences. He won the Foxrock Handicap Chase at Navan last December of 143. He hasn't ran over fences since. He is fit, haven't ran over hurdles. There's £6 between them. Now, I know it can be easier to climb the handicap by winning handicaps. So, like, the £6, there might be more than £6 between them, but he's getting £9 off a horse that hasn't ran since last April, is it?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
He was
so
brought down, wasn't he? And I can't remember who he was
yeah,
brought down. Punchestown, I think.
I'd be confident enough now about Safari.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Software then for that. Buddy won and Classic Getaway probably getting spins for respective nationals, I would imagine.
But Classic Getaway did win this last year.
Yeah.
I just look Safari 2.5 over fences. Oh, strangely, he's been campaigned now, like since his last chase win.
Yeah, it's not as if they're protecting a mark of 151 if you're rocking up in a Red Mills chase, and he's no chase entries either. So yeah, strange one.
Yeah.
Right, Quinbet beginners chase next. 4:15. Ballybow up the top here with a rating of 122. He's bitterly disappointed me now ever since he's ran in the Albert Bartlett.
Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be races in him. I struggled in this race now myself. Champagne Jury possibly, although it's going to be his chase debut. He went and won nicely at Gowran on Thyestes Day, and they're going straight over fences. Maybe they're going to strike while the iron's hot here. He'd probably be my selection, but who do you like, Dak?
Yeah, I do like him. He's a bumper in the maiden hurdle winner. King Alexander. He was beat ahead into third on Thyestes Day.
Yeah, that was some finish. He's probably likely favourite, I'd say, because that was a stronger race than Champagne Jury's maiden hurdle.
Funicula did reverse the form with him, but not as much as I expected. So, yeah, I'd probably side with King Alexander.
King Alexander, okay. And then we've got, last but no means least, the O'Driscoll's Irish Whiskey, Kerry's Cottage handicap chase.
This is the reason we're here.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't can the pot just for this race. Right, so we've got 10 runners, a few old legends in here as well. Don't Go Yet and Solomon Lane, also right beside each other. I would have thought we're both on the same page, aren't we? I'd imagine your likely favourite's going to be Slonagwave Galair, who won on Stevens's Day up at Down Royal. Would have ground queries possibly about him if it got very, very testing. Was a soft ground winner, but I think he's better on a bit of decent ground. The top weight though, Beckett Rock under Dara O'Keefe, maiden hurdle winner at the track on testing ground on his first ever run over hurdles as a 4-year-old. And then beat Bunting, albeit probably luckily at Clonmel in a conditions hurdle. There's only 2 wins to date. Ran in 3 fairly decent beginner chases, well beaten, although punted off the boards, and was favourite to win that day against Irish Panther. And then behind Jimmy Desai and Kay Dahi, there's none of the likes in there. £10 below his chase mark. He ticks a lot of boxes, Dak. Who do you like?
Yeah, look, Becca Rock, handicap chase debut. He was second in a handicap hurdle of 135 last February. He was 6th in the Coral Cup. He looks really, really well handicapped on handicap chase debut. You know, an easy one to close the card at Gowran.
Don't fall off, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's the nap at the top anyway at Gowran. It's in the last race, Beckett Rock. But then we'll give a shout out obviously to the Andy Slattery horse in the rearranged Surehaul Mercedes-Benz Novice Hurdle. Remind me of his name there again, Dick. Do you have it?
Times are changing.
Times are changing. I knew it was something that was long name. Right, we'll just briefly pop through Punchestown as well on Sunday. Sure, why not? While we're here. First things first, Deck. As I just pull up the card. The first race is a rated novice chase. Working here without declarations because it's a Thursday night. Who did you like? Break My Soul up there at the top. I Am Lorenzo. Nice switch to chasing last time. I would love to see Pure Steel get back on track. I don't know what happened to him in the Killiney, but he really impressed me over 2 miles the last day. But who's your fancy there?
Oh, look, I won't be able to form an opinion on this race until declarations. Unfortunately, there's lots of ways into it, and there's lots of. I'm hoping to see a good run here. Exactly. There's a bit of that, so I don't know. There's a few in there I like. I can't form an opinion until declarations, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, you've Park of Kings in there. I would imagine it'd be Ferryhouse or Punchestown for him over a longer trip. Lovely Hurling, who he's the one that now with Colin Murphy now amongst the winners with Sanush and obviously Savante running so well at the Dublin Racing Festival, him off 11 stone 5 and given his novice hurdle form, I would imagine he should be winning this race and winning it pretty easily, but you just wouldn't know. I
will mention break myself because I look, don't be surprised by the sun on our back. Like, you know, we're coming into the spring now. Apparently, I can't remember the last time I had my sunglasses on in the car, even, like, you know. Haven't needed them driving anything, haven't needed them at all. Like, this should be sunglasses and scarf weather, but like, it's not. We're not even getting the scarves on. We just have the rain jackets on. So don't be surprised when
ponchos,
particularly mares, when the sun does come out, all of a sudden they'll come alive. So I am hoping Break My Soul comes alive now in the spring when the sun comes out, and I wouldn't look. I have a lot of fancy prizes for the Arkle. I'm hoping she comes alive and
you can still have them.
Big race there,
Pure Steel and Lovely Hurling will be the two I'm looking at. I don't know if both will be declared, but I'm sure one of them will be. And then you've got the Beginner's Chase deck. Anything for that? Champagne Jury is about 50 entries, and he's already declared here on Saturday. Super Sunday, good to see him back, I suppose. Shuffle the Deck and Kiss Will, who I've been bitterly disappointed with now. One more run before he gets qualified for something like the Gordon Richards is what I'm starting to hang my hat on now. I still have faith in him. I don't think he's a 21 lengths worse than Cocktail Divan now. But interesting to see how he gets on there.
The Deck qualified for the Kinmore.
With this run, he should be. He's not qualified for a National Hunt Chase though. I think he needs to run over 3 miles for that. But Shuffle the Deck.
He's run over 2 miles 7.5, hasn't he? So
yeah,
they just, you know, bit of rail movement.
Yeah, exactly.
Qualified he's this will qualify him for the Kinmore.
It will, yeah. Okay. For which I'd say he'd be well fancied for. Yeah. Obviously, Ted Welch, who won the race with Any Second Now as well, the Kinmore, didn't he?
Probably won
famous.
Yeah,
he probably multiple times, I'd say. Yeah, the famous Peppa Pig interview. Anyway, the Grand National Handicap Trial, Irish Grand National Trial Handicap Chase next on the card deck. Anything you like there?
Yeah, I like Nay. We've talked about him before. He's keeping on the last day. We bumped into one now on the green and gold. He's won over 3 mile 1 at Fairy House. He'd be my selection at the moment without Dex.
Yeah, I think we all backed. I think you convinced me to back him that day as well. Yeah, it was a good second. Lucky Lyrene is the one I'd be really fancying here now. Like, this horse needs 5 miles in testing ground, and it may as well be 5 miles of the ground the way it's likely to be. Did very well to beat Born Braver on ground he wouldn't have appreciated at Down Royal, and he was idling the whole way up the straight and just held on from Born Braver. So 127. This horse was competitive off higher ratings over hurdles. As I said, soft ground. I would almost be disappointed if he got beat and if he ran here. I would really fancy him now. The 3 o'clock is the Irish Stallion Farms Sheila Burke Novice Hurdle listed race. This is very interesting now. A lot of horses I like in this race, and the return to 2 miles for Heads Up for Tech as well. Is it too little too late? That was the big question.
No.
Zeus Power was a horse that I've been on side for quite a while now. Went into my notebook when second to Risk Away at the end of November, and then went and easily won a maiden hurdle at Thurles, and then showed really, good bottle to beat Lazur the Star at Navan. I'm unsure he'll be able to confirm that form, giving away £3 at 2 miles, but he is a horse that I think is going to seriously improve when he steps up in trip. I've no problem with them running here. He's 100-1 for the Supreme and 66s for the Bearing Bingham. I don't think he's going to be a Cheltenham horse, but he is a horse that I could see rocking up maybe at Fairy House There's a grade 2 novice there over 2.5 miles. When he steps up in trip, ideally, possibly even to 3 miles, Punchestown at 3 miles at the end of the season. That's kind of what I have on my mind for him. He's a really nice horse. I think he's going to make a smashing chaser if they do it next year. And if they don't, I think he could possibly make up into a Stayers hurdle horse in due time. I hold him in very high regard. But Deck, who do you like here?
Heads up, Andy. Just before he runs, okay, on Sunday, he is 300 on the exchanges. He's not quite as big as Blake, okay? Not quite as big as Blake, who's 440.
He'd be getting ready for the Lincoln though instead of the Supreme.
Yeah, he's after Maiden, yeah. He's 300. He's a 2-miler, okay? Like, this horse has convinced me to break my golden rule of gambling. He's a maiden winner at Listowel. He was second in the bumper last year at Cheltenham. He split Calypso Chance and Castle Creek at Navan before that. And before that, he won by 24 lengths in the bumper at Punchestown. He is a really, really nice horse. He's a 2-miler in my opinion, and I'm so happy to see him here over the 1 mile, 7.5 furlongs. I don't know what they were playing at. As you said, I didn't see the race. We were going head to head, heads up on Active Innocence.
He made Danny Mullins look like a 10-pound claimer at Cheltenham. Like, Danny hadn't a chance. The horse actually almost looked like it was his first day at school. Like, it was kind of impressive how like unreal he was, given his experience. And yeah, like, I just think maybe if they give this horse his head and just let him stride out, as you said, over 1 mile and 7, like, you know, the ability is clearly there.
But look, he is 300, okay? 440 on Blake. Have a bit of that while you're on there. Because as I've said a few times now, you'll have worse bets, and I think so much of him, he's convinced me to break my golden rule of gambling. So yeah, look, I think he's a right one. Don't let that go.
Yeah,
take some of that. Euro
right. Euro or two will do. Yeah, absolutely. Won't hurt you.
I actually think it's a really nice race, Andy, and I think if he can win it after the campaign he's had, he has to go to the Supreme, and he goes with a chance. Yeah,
no, I totally agree with you. If they go really, really hard, Zeus Power is going to come home well. And if he was to win this race, like, he'd be nearly a top 5 novice in the country, I think, if he could go and win this race over 2 miles with a penalty. Like, that's how highly I'd rate him. But he's a 2.5 to 3 miler in time, I think. And anything he's doing right now over the minimum trip's a bonus, in my opinion.
I do really like him as well now, to be honest.
But I don't think Sunday's going to be his day. It's the right race in terms of his education. Just keep him on side when he goes up in trip, and yeah, I'd be with you on heads up on Sunday.
Making some of that 300s.
Yeah, I'll probably go on before we hit this live. It'd be 90 or 80 by the time we're live. Everyone calling us a liar. Right, it's a maiden hurdle next over 2.5 miles. Deck, anything in that kind of caught your eye there? A lot of entries. I didn't really go through this race, to be really honest with you.
No, I didn't look at it.
Right, grand. But keep going for a novice handicap hurdle, 2 miles 6, nearly 2 miles 7. Anything catch your eye here?
Sean Mack might get his day. He's been second twice now. He's creeping up the weights, which isn't ideal, but he's up in trip here, and it'll be now or never for him, I think. Yeah,
I see Loch Nagara in there. The lads are Dunglen Racing Syndicate. They're having a great time with him. Yeah, he's hit the crossbar a few times, but he got his head in front of Punchestown, which he more than deserved. And
did he run in the top national?
He did, yeah. He came there swinging and just didn't quite get home over the extended 3 mile too.
It's a specialist race, the top national.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not for everyone, like, and you know.
No, the lad Connor Waters is a part of the syndicate. They are running a competition, by the way, if you go to their Dunglen Racing Syndicate page on Twitter, with money going to the Injured Jockeys Fund. You could win owners badges for the day to watch them, hopefully, all fingers crossed, ground being well, have Old Man Dingle running the Gordon Richards, and you'd be there as an owner, which is a pretty damn cool prize, and he wouldn't be without a chance if the ground came up decent as well. So Yeah, swing over and have a look at the tickets there.
The pleasure of meeting an owner from a horse from the TAP National, but that horse actually a non-runner, but lovely fella. We had a good chat on top of the stairs there, top of the escalator. And
everyone could hear you as well. It was nice.
Yeah, quite a loud chat we had. And we had another chat then in the betting ring.
You couldn't get you away from him.
Yeah, sound fella all together now.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Fair. Best of luck to the lads there with Loch Nagara. He probably has a great chance. In my opinion, doesn't quite see out the 3 miles, but this 2 mile 6 can be right up his street, and he's just so consistent. So I think he'd have a decent chance. Flat bumper there, 432 deck. Anything catch your eye? I see it's good to talk. Only Emmett Mullins would have a horse by Caravaggio on a bumper. But anyway, anything you like there?
Pressure's on the bumpers now.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually I've been getting messages genuinely to fancy having for the bumper, like having, like, I don't know, if we've covered 100 bumpers, we might tip and trade them, like, you know. But Gowran Man is interesting here. I'm not going to tip him, but I'm just going to mention for that I you know, ones to keep an eye on. But Gowran Man, he was second in the game of inches last February. The third won a bumper at Christmas. I can't think of the name of it. Soul Asylum was second in the point to point. The third is one next time out. Here's one for you, Andy. Cocknor, point to point winner.
Okay.
The second from that point to point had ran in flat maidens before.
Perfect rail. This one here, is it?
The second from the point to point.
He ran in a 1 mile. He ran in a 1 mile maiden at Leopardstown.
I didn't think that was allowed.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And then ran in a point to point.
What are the conditions for the point? Was it an open point to point?
It was a 4-year-old maiden.
He wasn't bought. Was it for Punchestown sale? Is there past winners comments? Past winners. It gives me past. No, it doesn't give me past winners. Yeah, that stumped me now. I'll just see where this horse was bought. Goff's November, not sold. Then the Goff's Autumn, $3,000. And then the Goff's UK Spring for 55 grand. Okay. I suppose he was second in a bumper or second in a point to point. I don't know. That stumped me. If anybody can tell us in the comments how that's allowed.
That's allowed. Yeah.
I'm all ears. But anyway.
I'll mention Early Dawning, actually, who was fourth in the bumper on TAP National Day. That was won by No LeMay, who was just touched off with Broadway Ted. So, look, I'm not going to tip them in without decks, but they're far I'd like.
And then there is also Heldam in there, who is probably in many of people's open bets absolutely laughing themselves sick for the champion bumper.
Yeah, well, look, he ran forward at Leopardstown at Christmas, did he? But like Willie's have done that.
Willie, yeah. And then finally the Up the Yard Challenge. I couldn't help but notice Willie Mullins has entered like half the stable in it, which is very interesting. I think Gordon Elliott won this race with the Goffer as a pipe opener for Cheltenham last year. And maybe Willie Mullins is looking to do the same thing. I'm going to start a rumour now that this is Jump a Lens trial race for the Martin Pipe. The funniest one though.
Cut the ropes not in it. Patrick Harty tell us cut the rope would be running.
Yeah, seemingly not. Yeah, that's a pity.
They've stuck in along the way.
Okay, and then Willie Mullins has decided to enter the flat rated 107 flat rated absurd in the UTR challenge, 155 over the sticks. That takes the piss, doesn't it? But anyway, look, I suppose it's all in good fun for charity. It's actually not a bad race. I'm looking through, like, there's a few decent horses in it. Like the Goffer is no mug. Daddy Longlegs 150 odd hurdler. Duffel Coat, very good staying chaser. Cisco has won on the flat in the past. As I said, absurd 107, like ran in a Melbourne Cup. I think was favourite for a Melbourne Cup, and I couldn't imagine Kieran McAvoy getting off him at Flemington on the first Tuesday in November going, I'd put him away for the up the yard challenge there, will he? Well, yeah, who knows? Right, that brings us to an end of the Punchestown card. Thoroughly enjoyable. An hour and 20 minutes we've gone here, but you're not going to have anything else to do than other than listen to us because it's raining outside, so we're happy to go the extra few minutes here. Plans for the weekend then, Deck? You're going to try and go racing or if it's on?
He's going to Old Town. It has been postponed, rearranged for next Saturday, which is Bobby Joe Chase Day. Not ideal. But we're still hoping to have a stable tour of Ian Dunhu's.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So that's still the plan for Saturday morning. We were planning to do that and head to Old Town, but it hasn't worked out. So, other than that, I'll make Punchestown on Sunday, I'd imagine, and the Dubs are playing Saturday night. We'll try to get into that. What about yourself?
Yeah, I might have a look at Punchestown myself. See how I'm fixed. Be date day actually, I think Saturday, and then I don't know. We'll see how it fixed. See how the weather's fixed. Go for a pint tomorrow, and yeah, take it from there. Take it easy. That's the plan. That's all we've got time for in the Take Up whole podcast. A few that we're in agreement in. Hopefully Beckett Rock, if the racing is on, brings it home, and then we've obviously got Heads Up and a few more, and hopefully you've taken a few nuggets from our Dublin Racing Festival review as well. Better late than ever. Keep sharing and subscribing though, guys. We do very much appreciate it. And until next time, which is TAP146, what would that be now? I'm trying to think. Probably the Bobby Joe.
We've Bobby Joe next week.
Bobby Joe, the Bobby Joe, probably.
All right. That's the anniversary of the National Double.
The National Double, yeah, very good. Mark all the big days on top. Right, until next time, guys. All the very best and bye bye.
Cheers.